Hello students. Now in today's session we shall learn about the breathing process. What is there in the breathing process? Now what is breathing? It is a process in which air rich in oxygen is taken inside and air rich in carbon dioxide is given out with the help of respiratory organs. So breathing occurs continuously in the organisms. Thus breathing involves two steps which takes place alternately. The first step is inhalation. So when we breathe in, we take in of air rich in oxygen into our body and this process is called as inhalation. Then we exhale out. So in exhalation, it is giving out air rich in carbon dioxide from the body to the external environment and this process is called as exhalation. Now there is an activity which must be performed under obviously your teacher. Close your nostril and mouth tightly and look at a watch. So you need to close your nostril and mouth tightly and then look at a watch and note down the time for which you could hold your breath. We will soon start feeling uneasy and cannot hold our breath for even 1 minute. Let's try it. Okay, so after a certain time it becomes very uneasy for us to breathe. So this is why breathing is very important for us. We start feeling uneasy, we cannot survive without breathing process. And then when we calculate this breathing rate, so what is this breathing rate? The number of times a person breathes in a minute is termed as a breathing rate. So an adult human being can inhale and exhale 15 to 18 times in a minute and it is the average breathing rate of an adult human being. So what is the average breathing rate of an adult human being? It's 15 to 18 times in a minute. Now, the breathing rate of a person is not always constant. It changes according to the oxygen requirement of the body. So, as we do different types of work, so according to that, the breathing rate also changes. It is not constant throughout. Okay. So, the breathing rate is somewhat faster in women than in men and in children. It is higher 20 to 30 times per minute than adults. Now breathing rate is the slowest while sleeping. So when we sleep, it is slowest at the sleeping time as less energy is required while maximum during the heavy exercises like running, weightlifting, etc. Because in this kind of exercises, we require much energy. So when we require much energy, the breathing rate also become fast. And as we have the less energy requirement activity like sleeping, so breathing rate becomes slow. That's why it is always said you have to sleep for a limited number of hours. You should not exceed your sleeping. You should not sleep throughout the day or you should not sleep for a longer time. Okay, that is why breathing is very important. Now the increased breathing rate provides a greater amount of air into entry into the lungs as we have increased breathing, as we have heavy exercises or we work out. So why it is important? We always say we need to exercise because when we exercise it increases our breathing rate. And what happens when we increase our breathing rate? It is we need the greater amount of air or greater amount of oxygen into our lungs so that our blood can absorb this oxygen at a faster rate and faster breathing supplies more oxygen to the body cell for producing more energy which is required for the heavy exercises. So as we require more oxygen in the body, as the blood will be able to absorb more amount of oxygen, we will feel more fresh. That's why we say exercise is very important for our healthy lifestyle. Now when we visit a doctor, so when the doctor asks us to breathe, okay, we take the deep breath, then he says control, then make a small breath. So how he is able to hear what he makes it from our that heartbeat. So with the heartbeat along with the respiration what we take, so oxygen supply in our body is just noted by the doctors. So and this can be done with an instrument which you have seen with the doctor, that is the stethoscope. So during these heavy exercises, the breathing rate can increase to 25 times per minute. And because of this, the food gets broken down at a faster rate and thus makes us feel very hungry. So the people who do exercise, they will require more amount of food. More amount means healthy food. So depending upon which kind of food you eat, also your breathing is very important along with the food habits. So if you want to gain weight, you need to exercise. If you want to lose weight, you need to exercise. Losing and gaining weight is not important. Being healthy is very, very important for us. Okay. So when we feel drowsy, sleepy or tired, we yawn. Okay. The word, whenever we say this word yawn, we start yawning. Why? Because we open our mouth wide to take a long deep breath of air. Why we yawn? Because while yawning we need the oxygen. So if we are continuously sleeping, sitting at one place or doing any action, any kind of activity which we have continuously as sitting at one place, so after a certain time we start yawning because the oxygen becomes less in the body and the cells require more oxygen. So to take this more oxygen, we open our mouth and we yawn. Okay, because our breathing rate slows down and the body does not receive sufficient oxygen. So to take the sufficient oxygen, the nostril is not able to take that much amount of oxygen. So we open our mouth and we then yawn, and it's a reflex action. When one yawns, another person will definitely also yawn. This yawning is again a reflex actions. Now, there is a relation between a breathing and a cellular respiration. That in breathing, when we take in oxygen and give out carbon dioxide, so this is traveling to where? It is traveling to the cells. Okay, and in the cells we have mitochondria which is releasing this energy. So here the cellular respiration is taking place. So breathing is causing the respiration. So breathing is to process inhalation and exhalation. So as you take in oxygen and give out carbon dioxide, this oxygen and carbon dioxide is sent to the cells, and then these cells, there the food is broken down with the help of this oxygen, and then it is releases carbon dioxide, and then it is again sent to the lungs through the exhalation. Okay, as you can see here, in glucose plus oxygen gives carbon dioxide, water and ATP. ATP is adenosine triphosphate, that is the energy packets. So this is the energy units, and how many we have? 36. Okay, this is a cell, for example. These are the mitochondria where this food is broken down. So glucose, then oxygen which is supplied here, it is utilized in producing the food, and it how we get it this food, it is sent into form of energy, and then whatever is the waste food product, it comes out through the excretion. Understood? So the breathing, it helps in respiration. So breathing involves two process, and then the respiration is taking place at the cells. Okay. Now let's see at the respiratory system in the human beings in the next video. Okay. We shall see it in the next video. Let's try to understand again with the video how the breathing is taking place. Now we shall see at the breathing and the respiratory system video.
Respiratory system. To understand the process of breathing, in humans, the main organs responsible for respiration are present in the thoracic cavity. In the thorax region, the rib cage and a dome-shaped fibrous tissue known as the diaphragm are observed. Present within the rib cage are the pleural membranes, which enclose the lungs. The right lung is divided into three lobes: the right superior, right middle, and the right inferior lobe. The left lung is smaller and has only two lobes: the left superior and the left inferior lobe. Both the lungs are associated externally with small tubular bronchi which unite and extend into the trachea. The trachea has incomplete C-shaped rings of cartilage which prevent the tracheal wall from collapsing. The trachea leads into the pharynx, which is connected to the nostrils. As we breathe in air, the oxygen molecules enter the nostrils and travel downwards through the pharynx and trachea to finally reach the bronchi. From each bronchus, oxygen travels into the lungs. Within the lungs, the bronchus divides repeatedly to form bronchioles. Oxygen travels through these bronchioles and reaches the alveoli, each of which is surrounded by a network of capillaries. A section of one alveolus shows the presence of numerous alveolar chambers with pores. Blood containing RBCs is seen flowing through the capillaries. The oxygen molecules from the alveolus diffuse into the capillary and then get absorbed by the bluish-purple RBCs. This causes oxygenation of the RBCs, and a transition in their color from bluish-purple to red is observed. The blood moving into the alveolus contains RBCs and carbon dioxide molecules. These molecules are released into the alveolus. The carbon dioxide collects in the alveolar chamber. And then from the alveolus, it travels through the bronchioles into the bronchus, which finally reaches the trachea and is breathed out through the nostrils. So the process of breathing in air rich in oxygen is called inhalation. After the contraction of muscular diaphragm, the lungs expand and the air rushes in, resulting in the inflation of alveoli. During exhalation, the diaphragm moves up and the lungs contract. Thus, the alveoli deflate, causing the air to be forced out. This exhaled air is rich in carbon dioxide. This process of inhalation and exhalation is known as respiration, which is approximately 20 times per minute. Summary. In the thorax region, the rib cage and the diaphragm are observed, which play a vital role in respiration. Present within the rib cage are the pleural membranes, which enclose the lungs. The right lung consists of 3 lobes. While the left lung has only 2 lobes. Both the lungs are associated externally with bronchi, which unite and extend into the trachea. As we breathe, the oxygen molecules enter the nostrils and travel downwards through the pharynx and trachea to finally reach the bronchi. From each bronchus, oxygen travels into the lungs. Within the lungs, the bronchus divides repeatedly to form bronchioles. Oxygen travels through these bronchioles and reaches the alveoli, each of which is surrounded by a network of capillaries. As blood flows through the capillaries, the oxygen molecules from the alveolus diffuse into the capillary. This causes oxygenation of the RBCs. The carbon dioxide molecules are released into the alveolus.
Hope so. The video was very interesting. Okay, in the next session we shall see about, we have already seen about the respiratory system in human. So in the next class we shall see about how the mechanism, this also was shown in the video. Again I shall explain in the next video.